Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome to 3304. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. This week, Frontier remove all Skimmer missions from the game. Obsidian Orbital and the Oracle, the two stations attacked by the Thargoids, have been brought back online. And some rather strange hieroglyphs have been found at the Guardian ruins. All Skimmer missions have now been temporarily removed from the game, pending an investigation by Frontier into excessive payouts by these missions. Over the weekend, hundreds of people descended onto a small number of systems in-game in order to collect mission payments in the regions of 200 to 400 million credits per hour. Now naturally, this meant that it was possible to rack up billions of credits within just a few hours, meaning there are now probably many more millionaires out there or billionaires out there. What's more, the new mission reward choices meant that it was possible for players to choose rare material rewards as an option for the reward for the mission, therefore allowing players to collect dozens of modified embedded firmwares, exquisite focus crystals, and biotech conductors. The missions are scheduled to return in a future minor update, probably in the next few weeks, along with a fix most likely preventing such high payouts in the future. Now of course, this is not the first time Skimmer missions have paid out high volumes of money. One of the most notorious cases was towards the end of 2016 in the System 17 Draconis. There's also been many other gold rushes since, and this one probably won't be the last. Towards the end of last week, the Oracle, the first station attacked and taken offline by the Thargoids, was brought back online by a huge player effort by Operation Ida. Now parallel to this, Obsidian Orbital was also brought back online by the Winged Hussars and other player groups. The first Thargoid attacks on stations took place close to 3 months ago, and any damaged stations have remained offline ever since. Eventually, players began to band together to start a massive repair effort for these stations, and this gained further momentum once Frontier reduced the repair requirements costs down from their previous rather excessive levels. In related news, this is an in-game story and game information posted to Galnet. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Aegis' chief military liaison, has confirmed that the Thargoids only appear to be attacking stations that have an Aegis laboratory on board. So Aegis, like INRA before them, continue to be distrusted by large numbers of commanders within the galaxy. And this is bolstered by the fact that Aegis have gained huge amounts of power in the last few years, or the last few months even, and on top of that, their ultimate agenda seems to be relatively unknown. Either way though, it's clear that the Thargoids do not like Aegis. Meanwhile, the repair efforts by Operation Ida continue, with Malthus Terminal being the next objective, and tracking shows that this is very close to completion as well. So I'd just like to say congratulations then to everyone involved in the repair effort for these stations, and I'd like to add a little special congrats for everyone getting Obsidian Orbital back online. The new update arrived today for Elite Dangerous, patch 3.0.2, which has fixed a whole slew of problems with Chapter 1. One of the most notable of these fixes perhaps corrects the ability to collect Guardian data blueprints en masse. Now these are used to unlock Guardian weapons and modules at the tech brokers, with the data blueprints forming a high-level unlock requirement and also being relatively hard to come by. The intended way to collect Guardian blueprints then is to complete the time-based puzzle at the Guardian ruins. Now this is a fair old time investment. The reward for completing the puzzle is a single Guardian data blueprint given at random for a pool of 3 different types, or those 3 types being module, weapon and vessel blueprints. So after the release of Beyond, players soon discovered that these blueprints were being generated by simply scanning a Guardian obelisk, and that meant you could obtain them without doing the puzzle. What's more, the player would receive 3 blueprints instead of just 1, therefore allowing them very quickly to stack up dozens of the blueprints. And seeing as these data were one of the harder to obtain elements of the technology unlocks, then it's not hard to see why players would want to collect as many of these as possible. Ultimately though, this was unintended gameplay, so this has now been fixed, meaning that the only way to obtain the blueprints is the intended way, which is to complete the puzzle at the Guardian ruins. Other changes within the 3.0.2 update include the removal of notoriety penalty for murder by ramming in all locations instead of just around stations, and explorers will be pleased to hear that the black squares on planets have been fixed in certain cases. For the full changelog of this minor point update, do check out the link in the video description below. Commander General Wasted came across a rather interesting discovery at the Guardian ruins, Deep in the synthwave cluster, behind ancient closed doors, he found these sets of images that you can see right here. General Wasted actually made an entertaining in-character post on the forums about this, but it appears that what he did is actually clip the external camera through the structure, which is why the images are a little bit blurry. In a second set of pictures he posted a bit later, you can see these are much higher quality as he managed to focus the camera through a crack in the doorway. Now at the moment there doesn't appear to be any specific gameplay related to any of this, and there appears no way to open the doors to the structure. However, the fact remains that there are images in there, or hieroglyphs perhaps, and that for now at least the possibilities of what these could be remains entirely open. So if you'd like to read up more on this, then do check out the 2 forum threads that I've linked in the video description below, where you can find an ongoing discussion. Frontier recently placed a poll on Twitter asking players which ship they prefer to fly, small and medium ships or large ships. The poll was only up for a short while and the results are actually very interesting and may actually surprise a few people. It appears that the majority of players actually prefer flying small and medium ships, with 57% of people actually voting for them. Now personally, I really also enjoy flying the small and medium ships for a whole multitude of different reasons, and usually only reserve the larger ships for specialised activities such as large cargo runs or fighting Thargoids. Although Frontier didn't post a reason for the poll, it's nonetheless a rather fascinating insight. That then brings us to the end of this episode of 3304. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.